I want to start today with a big claim.
Okay, what's that?
But if I do, we gotta actually, earn it throughout. It's, maybe we walk through this conversation. I changed my mind, but here's my claim.
Okay.
2026, we're going to look back and say it's one of the biggest years, biggest decision-making years for families and business owners. 2026, the pivot point.
I will tend to agree with you on that. Yeah, 2026, it's already starting, right? With, last year was the year of the tariffs, and now seems like that conversation still hasn't ended yet. There's talks about taking over Greenland. But when you think about what 2026 presents us as far as planning and taking action, I agree with you. There's a lot that's being discussed right now behind the scenes. A lot of laws that are in place right now that are possibly could be repealed if a new administration comes in to power after 27? I guess after 27, so 28. And so unless you really understand what is actually transpiring right now, then I may agree with you. I definitely agree with you.
Yeah.
If you're not taking action this year, then you're missing out on a lot.
No, yeah. There's a lot of moving parts right now, right?
Yeah.
A lot of change. And I don't know, I tend to think that there's almost like a formula that's kind of woven itself throughout that's created the scenario where individuals, families need to be proactive in their thought process, need to ensure that they're well thought out in what's available, what do they need to be thinking about with their personal plan. Business owners, what do they need to be doing? Should they be considering major moves this year?
Mm-hmm.
Should they, consider deploying capital, financing, doing anything to advance their business, and why? And I think that's what we want to hit on, because when I think about like just the simple things of like the interest rate environment we're in, right? You get out of 2024 and into 2025, and we're rocking with this continuation of dropping and reduction in interest rates. And I feel like, people knew and people know, hey, there may be some refinancing possibilities. Real estate may become, more fluid, and we may see more transactions, more new homes being built, et cetera. But there's also been this like, I'm waiting because I know rates are dropping.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so like when you look at that scenario, AI, the continued integration, just the momentum continues month after month to become more and more widely available, more and more widely integrated into infrastructure and operations, like all these different moving parts. And I think there's our side of the story, consumers, families, business owners, and then there's banks, institutions that are also trying to capitalize.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think we look back this year and say, man, I wish we would have made a decision, or I'm glad we made a decision. But I think we're going to have a lot of those types of conversations looking back historically on year 2026.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we're in an environment. So 25 offered us the opportunity to see 3 rate cuts from the feds. And I think the market is expecting maybe 1 this year.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more.
Just depends, right? But think about what's changing. I'm not a betting man, but what I would bet is that when Powell's seat is up, which is I believe in May, he's gone. Mm-hmm. I mean, him and Trump are just fighting neck and neck. And, with Trump wants more acceleration of these rate cuts, and Powell, as he has said from the beginning, he would rather take it slow than go fast and then have to repivot and see rates go up again. So you've got that internal conflict going on in Washington right now. And, Powell's seat is up in, I believe it's April or May.
Yeah.
And I would say that Trump's going to replace him. Mm-hmm. And so who knows what that's going to happen? Is this new person going to fall in line with what Trump wants? And instead of the 1 rate cut that the market is pricing in right now, you may see 3 or 4, mm-hmm. right? And so, but that being said, 25 offered opportunities to refinance, going back on interest rates. And you and I both know that people are waiting for some reason, some people are waiting for that magical moment, right? It's almost like when you think about investing.
Wonder what that is.
It's like investing, right? You don't ever want to time the market, right? So, the market goes down, then, the investors who are trying to time the market says, oh, it's not yet. The bottom hasn't hit yet. So I'm going to wait till the bottom hits. And then the market spikes back up, and then you've missed that opportunity. And then it goes back up. You're like, okay, it's going to go down. I know it's going to go down, and I'm going to wait, because October of 22, the market hit its lowest point in the last 3 years. I'm just going to wait because the market's going to go back. Well, have you seen 23?
Yeah.
Have you seen 24? And did you see 25? The market has not gone down. And so I think people are trying to test the interest rate game like they're trying to test the market, where they're just waiting for this moment when have you actually done the math? Or if you're just waiting for this 5 and a hook, a 6 and a hook, and say, well, I'm at 7. Well, 6.5 is not appealing enough. I need to wait for 6. I need to wait to 5.5. But have you done the math and the calculations to see, what does it actually mean for your financial plan?
because I mean, to your point, lower rates doesn't improve a fragile plan.
Right.
If you don't have a strong foundational plan, so what, right? And the problem is the environment we're in. There's a lot of these teasers out there. There's a lot of clickbait, if you will, in offerings, which is, kind of to my point earlier, the way in which these institutions are going to, try to be profitable on this moment in this season. But all right, so to your point, you have individuals and families that have been waiting. And we know, as we continue into this environment of lower interest rates, regardless, I mean, obviously I would believe that, Trump's going to be able to get someone he wants in that seat. Assuming he does, that's going to follow suit with what, his agenda is, which is to, reduce interest rates, to pick up the pace in the residential space, and to get the cost of buying a home down, which is, Lord, it's necessary for new home buyers. You can barely afford one, especially if you're next to, a large metropolitan city. So if that happens, awesome. Let's think over on the business side, though. So interest rates drop from a business perspective. Well, we know that, accessing capital is a lot less expensive.
Yeah.
Right? So you think, okay, well, should I be doing that? And if I should, why? Should I be actually in year 2026 finally, taking the chance, rolling the dice, since I haven't done it, since the beginning of the business? There's a lot of people that have built great small businesses that for whatever reason have lost the oh man, if I just probably can't say what's in my mind. I probably could. Why not? Everybody else.
I know what you're saying.
Has lost the guts, if you will,
Yeah.
To go do what they did in the beginning when they started their business. It's like you took the risk, took the leap, threw it all on the table. I'm going for it. And obviously I understand that, being a business owner, you probably get it too. Like, the older you get, it's like, okay,
The less risk I want to take.
Yeah. And risk means different now. Right. But at the same point, the reality is we know, as part of this whole 2026 equation, that by not taking risk could absolutely mean the end of your game.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, you can look back at some of these large companies, right, that are no longer in existence. Your Kodaks, I guess your Kodaks, your Blockbusters, you look at what the environment was and where the market was shifting towards, and they didn't adapt.
Yeah.
And that was, I don't know when Netflix started, 20, maybe 30 years ago, who knows, somewhere around that time frame. Technology is moving at an even faster pace now. And so as a business owner, whether you're small, mid-sized, or large company, you have to be able to adapt to the environment that you're in right now. And what's taking over the media headlines right now, that in our business, we're 10 toes down, full speed ahead on AI. And if you're not taking advantage of that or understanding how that could play a part in your business, I think any business can see one or two applications that can either bring more traffic, whether it's an online business that can bring more customers, that can execute faster, process faster. You can implement AI, I think, in almost every part of your business, or in some part of your business. And maybe now is the opportunity that you say to yourself, well, I'm going to invest in a course, or I'm going to invest in hiring someone who's going to be my AI specialist. And he or she's going to be the one who's going to be, if you don't want to embrace it, at least let your business embrace it.
Yeah.
Right. And hire someone that can do it for you. And with lending as it is, like you said, lending right now, you may not have the cash flow to hire somebody, but if you can take a loan out at these favorable rates to invest in your business, to invest in AI.
Think you should?
Oh, you have to.
Yeah.
I think any business. I mean, I don't care if you're selling lemonade on the corner, or if you are a church, right? Or if you are a pool company, right? I mean, I think every business can leverage AI in some aspects, right? I mean, I was looking at the other day, there are AI tools that can actually take phone calls for you. Now you've got to train the model, but literally it can take in leads that come in and filter the leads, ask the questions for you.
Yeah.
And then the next morning you have a report of who called, they scheduled the meetings for you, and literally it is AI, and it sounds like an actual human.
You know, I heard Elon reference this the other day. I believe it was Elon in an interview that I was watching on YouTube, and he said applications on your phone will be gone. It'll be like Blockbusters. It won't
Really?
exist. I'm like, yeah.
Well, you just need one?
Huh?
You just need one application?
No, I don't know. It was a reel that I watched.
Maybe just talk
and
to
I'm
it.
like, so I got to go back and watch the whole thing. I'm sure it's just talk to it.
Yeah, maybe just talk to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure like his forward-looking, and incredible ability to kind of see the direction that, we're going from a tech world standpoint. But it's, I mean, like I said, there is a formula at hand right now that's unlike, I believe, any other, and it really is for everybody.
Yeah.
It is for family. It is for business, and just to expand here, like to what you're saying on the business side, you have, these small businesses that make up, grassroots America, if you will, grinding it out.
Main Street.
The whole, well, in many ways, falsely, but the identity that so many Americans find themselves valued in, which is, they wake up every day and they work hard and they've created something, right or wrong. That's the reality of it.
Right.
And so you got these small businesses, and, I worry for, these small businesses that are maybe, ran by someone who's maybe in their 50s, that's not quite there yet, or maybe doesn't have the financial capability to say, I'm out, but yet doesn't really, they're not putting enough focus on the reality that life is changing.
Yeah.
And it is changing quickly. And if your business doesn't change, if your business doesn't adapt, if your operations don't adapt, if your staff members don't adapt, you are left behind quickly.
Yeah.
Quickly. And it's the truth.
And I'm thinking about, on the other side of that coin, if you don't want to adapt, right? Let's take that example, that 50, 55. It doesn't matter how old you are, but if you just don't want to adapt to that thesis or that premise that AI is, if you don't incorporate AI in your business, you can be left behind. This may be a good opportunity to maybe sell your business to someone who's willing to incorporate AI and take that business to the next level. This may be a good opportunity for you to just sell and get that exit strategy. If you have a good customer base, you've got a good reputation, you've got great clientele, but you just don't want to adapt AI, then there are entrepreneurs, venture capitalists that are out there that are willing to buy your business.
Yeah.
And this may be, and now with
That
rates,
already have probably the technology to overlay on the operation.
exactly. So
Yeah.
you may want to find yourself as, okay, well, now this is my exit strategy right now. Because if I don't sell now, in 2 years, that person that wanted to buy it has already copied you
Yeah.
and don't need you anymore.
So, yeah. So what are like practical, like just questions that really an employee, a mother, a father, a family, a business owner, like questions that they should be thinking of to really question their own ability to like sustain the continued evolution from a workplace revenue standpoint. So I give an example, and then maybe you can help me kind of throw some of these out here.
Yeah.
Like for me, when I think of like a staff member, okay, I think about someone who is, they look at their position at a company, no matter what it is, it doesn't matter, no matter how high, no matter how low, in regards to like revenue or power or compensation. I believe that individual really needs to question everything that they're doing through the lens of should it be easier? Should it be more efficient? Should it be cleaner? And if so, being an owner of that and willing to go start trying to figure it out. And I'm not saying like every staff member has the controls to actually implement a change. I'm talking about getting into that frame of thought.
Yeah.
I know I do it in all areas, whether it's business management, development and growth, or it's, just personal finance or how we manage the house. I'm always thinking, which sometimes is stressful, like there's got to be an easier way. And in the world that we're in today, there is.
Yeah.
Always, it seems. You just haven't tapped into it. And so I think what you find is that by asking that question to yourself consistently, once again, no matter who you are, you find that you do have these natural walls sometimes like, I'll be fine. It'll make it. It'll work out, whatever. But when you start questioning, you start realizing, man, there is a lot of movement out here that should be embracing.
Yeah.
And adapting to.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, right? I don't care where you are. You should be think of yourself as the owner of that position. And as a business owner, how can I make my position as efficient as possible, right? Like you said, can I do things smoother? Can I do things faster? What is what aren't we even thinking about that maybe our competition is doing? And I'm seeing it work over there. Why don't we implement it here? Like you said, you may not have the range or the controls to do it, but you're at least thinking about it, right? So I think that's one. I think also that as an individual, so we're not talking about business owners, just like individuals and families, I would start to look at opportunities to save and maximize investments as much as possible. And what I mean by that is, if, again, this is not an AI conversation, but the point of fact is AI is here and it's not going anywhere, okay? Yeah. If you're starting to see your cubicle neighbor no longer there, you're starting to, where were we? We were in Alpharetta the other day, and the guy downstairs at the cafe who owns the restaurant, the cafe, said the building occupancy is like 20-30%, right? Now that could be for work from home, but it also could be like some of these businesses aren't even there anymore, like don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So if you're starting to see your industry as a whole shrinking a little bit, and you may say to yourself, again, this is not a doom and gloom scenario, but you may say to yourself, my position may be eliminated in 2 to 3 years, or our workforce may be reduced. Hopefully I'm still here, but the reality of the fact is I may be cut. So maybe this is my prime earning years for the next few years. And maybe after that, there may be a season of unemployment. There may be a season of I get a new job and I'm not making as much as I'm making right now. Maximize retirement planning, maximize paying down debt, maximize saving. I think that's something that you should really ask yourself is, let me take a really good audit on my industry and what is going on.
Yeah, just like be willing to really see the reality of the picture.
Yeah.
And like I said, I agree with you. It doesn't have to be a doomsday. The whole look, we all get complacent, right?
It happens to all
seasons
of us.
Of life. Yeah, it happens to everybody. So you take, even the business owner that has, came out with a great product or a great service 10, 15, 20 years ago and has been riding a nice, wave here for the last decade and has made a ton of money, staff members, whatever. Like even that individual needs to go back and kind of reset and say, okay, it's time to grind again. The administrative assistant who maybe has worked for the attorney or or has done, desk work for 20 years, right? If you're not ready to transition out and go without work, you have to start thinking, okay, what was that, where did that energy go that I had in the very beginning to prove myself, right? Because now it looks different, but the effort's going to have to be there.
Yeah.
And I think that's just something that stands out right now. That's what worries me more than anything is a lot of individuals and business owners that may have found themselves complacent, that aren't willing to adapt quick enough. For those that do, look, I think the opportunity's out there, right? And it's rampant. But once again, it's changing, ever changing, for sure.
For sure, yeah.
And I think too, like in moments like this where 26 is different, you get clickbait offerings. I want to go back to that because what was it, earlier this year or last year? They were talking about like this 50-year mortgage.
It was the end of last year.
Yeah, so you get things like that, and it's like, for a young family, or maybe a young man coming out of college that's starting out, or a young lady, it's like, that's the only way I can do it.
Yeah. No.
Maybe you shouldn't do
Maybe
it.
You shouldn't do it.
Yeah, right. I mean, like, what are we talking about? 50 years? I mean, what else I can put on the billboard, right?
Yeah. 50 years.
Lifetime. That's rent, The bank owns it. You live there. You pay the bank interest, and then you die. Like, you didn't own anything.
Yeah.
50 years.
50 years, yeah. I mean, I've gone back and forth with that. We've talked about it, and I saw some real estate guys saying that the 50-year mortgage.
Garbage.
It's like, how many people stay in your house for 30 years? How many people stay in their house for 50 years? So it's like, it's just a way to get inside the door, right? It's, if you really think about it, right, you're extending it from 15 to 30 to 50, 50. How much of your principal are you actually paying down? How much equity are you building if you have a 50-year mortgage?
Forget that. Like, have you I own a few 50-year-old properties right now. Have you seen the decay that happens over 50 years? I mean, depreciation laws. Like, they got to
change it now.
You got to go check out our depreciation videos. Depreciation laws. I mean, the government even says, look, for residential property, 27 and a half years, right?
Yeah.
Commercial properties, like, whatever, 35 years. And that's the government's guideline.
Yeah.
Right? 27 and a half years, because everything you bought, like the building, it's going to depreciate to nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, but we'll finance it for 50 years.
Yeah. But your house is falling apart in about 28.
Yeah, so you have to, then they'll come back with a special refi. Refi transitions to life.
Another 50 year.
Another 50 years.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. And I haven't done the full research on this, so if I'm wrong, so be it. I don't think the interest rate is the issue. For first-time homeowners, it's not about your mortgage payment. It's about the down payment.
Oh, yeah, maybe so.
Right? It's
right.
about, the house is at what? Let's just call it $500,000, right? Because that's a starter home nowadays, depending what. I mean, we were in Alpharetta the other day. These are townhouses going for not 1.8, but going for about 500,000. It's an inside joke.
Mo, it ain't no inside joke. Mo's like, I'm like, man, this whole place is like, it's just evolved, because we used to have an office in Alpharetta, and Mo's like, man, yeah, that house is probably 1.8 million. We drove by the signs like going for 500,000. I'm like, man, you are far from real estate.
Yeah, no, I mean, the finishings look really great. But, a starter home now, let's just say $400,000, which is truly what a starter home is. 20% down is $80,000. How many first-time homeowners, true first-time homeowners, have the $80,000 to put down on the home? Now, do you want to do a teaser of 3% and have PMI and have all this stuff? So now, what, 3% is $12,000?
Yeah.
All right. If you have $12,000 to put down a $400,000 home, you got to ask yourself, can I really afford this house?
I'm out. And I think that's why this year, that's what I'm saying, this year's going to be tough, because you're going to have a lot of like, maybe 23, 24-year-old all the way up to like 27, 28-year-olds who have been waiting for interest rate. That's what they're thinking is like the right time to make the right move. I've been waiting for interest rates to drop. Pricing on the homes clearly haven't really moved in quite some time. So if they drop interest rates, I wouldn't suspect that they're going to drop now. They may even have a bump if pressure and demand gets higher. So they're going to say, you know what? I just got to take it. Now's the time. and they go and borrow money, interest rates relative, not too bad. They spend a ton of money on these homes. I'm out on that concept. Like I understand some young men and women have to do that. But I will tell you right now, and I think this goes back to mothers and fathers, grandparents alike. I'm raising 3 boys, and I used to absolutely buy into this concept that when you turn 18, 19, you get your butt out, right? You're going to the military, you're going to college, you're going to get a job, but you're a grown man. Go on and figure life out on your own. And the more my son is closer to that age, like literally, about to be 18, I'm like, what right did I have to say that? Was I ready to, run a business or actually be a successful staff? I've never worked before, hypothetically, maybe they've never had a full-time job. They've worked some jobs here and there, but like they've never had to go make a power bill payment or set up bill pay online, and all the different things, or handle and negotiate pricing. And so it's like, you're going to kick them on the street? Like, no, that's a parenting issue.
Yeah, and let them fend for themselves?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm not saying baby your kids, but what I'm saying is the world is different than it was even 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Okay, it's way different. Nowadays, you're seeing parents, good luck to your kids. And right now, it's worked out okay. But now, these kids are going to colleges for degrees they'll never use because there'll never be a job for it. What are we thinking?
Yeah.
Okay? They're going to go to college to get some type of, business management or some type of like customer service degree. For what? AI is going to be answering the phone. So you're going to tell them to go get in debt at rates that are deferred but going to be incredibly high with no job, and you're going to make them go and finance a home that's priced to the gills and say good luck. Start your family underwater. Come on.
Yeah.
Like
you're not setting them up for success at that point at all.
No.
Life has changed. Like you said, life has changed, and it's such a systemic issue that we're facing right now, and it's finding itself in so many different areas, and that's why I think the two of us are so passionate about taking action. Right, you got to take action. I mean, this hasn't been approved yet, but it might. I mean, Trump has said we want to at least cap credit card interest rates at 10%. We had a podcast the other day about it. And for some, they may joke about it. And, they may say, well, this gives me an opportunity to keep spending, right? I can spend now at 10% and worry about the debt later. Aimlessly, right? Some may look at it as, okay, well, you're telling me 10% is the cap? Then maybe I can make that business investment. Maybe I can really start to use debt to leverage my business, and I have this 12-month window because the 10% was only for 12 months, and really start to take action in my next step in evolving into what the world is presenting me right now. And so, yeah, I mean, these, if you're thinking about buying a house and you're just literally just waiting for interest rates to go down, really just think about it. Is it really in your best interest to do that at this moment right now? Should you be saving, right? Let's save up for that down payment, so at least you can pay 20% down and not have PMI, get better favorable rates. Maybe it is, instead of putting $40,000 down on a house, I want to take this class that's $10,000, and that's going to increase my income by $40,000, $50,000, and puts me in a better position, right? I mean, there's a lot of things we can do.
It's those like out of the box, mindful, aimful decisions that matter in 2026.
Yes, I think of it as, I don't know if this is the right analogy, but I like it. I've been thinking about it as we've been talking. So if you like to do road trips, right? Let's say you have the end in mind, like where you're going to go.
I want to do one with Waymo though.
Oh gosh, I want to do one too. I got so excited the
I'm
other
like,
day.
that sounds great. Because,
Yeah.
I pretty much do it anyway. Like, for some reason, as my wife would say, she's like, you ain't looking at the road ever. Like, you're like this all the time,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, like, wait, but that's how they built it after me.
They built it after you, yeah.
I'm a
No,
master at that.
I got so excited when I saw one in Atlanta the other day. But you like road trips, right? So you have a destination in mind of where you're going to go.
Yeah.
And that destination, like, obviously I want to come back home. But you have a destination of where you want to go. So Colorado, Salt Lake City, San Francisco, Yellowstone, wherever you want to go. You're
That
planning.
was like multiple choice. There's one in there that should be out.
I know what
You
you're talking
named
about.
3 good ones, but that 4th, number C, like, I'm out. I'm just playing. I like San Francisco. Go ahead.
You know you want to go, and you're mapping it out, right? You're looking at destinations, where you're going to stop at, where you're going to eat, where might spend the night at, or 2 to enjoy the town, the town. And at some point, you may check the weather and say, okay, I need to pack this. I need to pack this way. I need to get an umbrella. We need to do this. Okay, we can't do that. If we're going to do it this day, we're going to do it this day because of weather. All this stuff. We're going to go to baseball games. Are going to happen. All that being said is that you're on this journey, and you are looking at all the things in front of you to plan. And if you're not, your journey could be an exit plan for your business. Your journey could be retirement. Your journey could be, starting a family, raising a family. Your journey could be getting married. Whatever that journey is, you've got to look at ahead of you, what's in front of you, because you don't want to get caught in a rainstorm and without an umbrella, right? You don't want to spend all this time planning for this trip, and then you realize that, oh, Yellowstone is closed, and you did all this for no reason, right? You don't want to get to the airport without checking your without checking your app and seeing that, oh, all the flights are delayed or all the flights are canceled, when you could have known that before you even left. So if you're not thinking about your journey, your life, your vision, where you want to go, where you want your business to go, and looking at all the obstacles or the paths that are ahead of you and preparing for those paths, you may find yourself, 1, going down the wrong path, or 2, just, in a bad spot.
Yeah. And I think
that was a good analogy.
That is an incredible analogy. And what I would like, what's profound about that analogy is, like, traditionally, like, we know we should be planning for all the what we know about the future, if you will, as we age, and then keep a plan flexible enough to adapt with the uncertainty of what we don't know. But the reason it's important now is because, like in your analogy, this road trip of getting from A to B, the understanding of mileage and whatever, how much time it's going to take, et cetera. Basically, the whole path and the whole way in which you get from A to B is changing, like, altogether. So we just, everybody knows what AI is. Everybody understands or knows someone that's using it at a very, I would say the majority, at a very low capacity. Okay. We all know it's crazy. I think that's like the common thing. Like, most people probably interpret or try to articulate what AI is as, like, it's just crazy, or it's concerning, or it's, I don't trust it, or, just something like that. The truth is this is, at least from my perspective, is a ever-changing industry, world, economic, shaking system. Among all, it's agnostic. It will literally change everything we do in everything that we do. And so, to your point, it requires us to, and I think we embrace it with, like, just a sense of curiosity, which is kind of like my, because sometimes it does get overwhelming, right? For sure. I think no matter who you are, whether you're a student at a college trying to figure out how do you even choose a career path, in an educational path at a time when all of this industry change is happening, or you're the father trying to lead your family and trying to make ends meet, and you're worried that AI may take over your position, and you're worried about that 3, 4, 5 years down the road. No matter who you are, I think you have to start now. Embrace the uncertainty with curiosity. That's the beauty of the technology. You can use it to better understand its, full depth and ability. You can use it to create that road trip. You can use it to have it guide you on like potential risks with your specific industry and your specific role, like what you do. There's nothing wrong with like get on there. Like I said, don't act like it doesn't exist. So I do this for a living. I'm in this industry. This is my pay. I have concerns that you're going to take over. Like, help me understand the full depth of what you can do. And is this a thought that maybe top leaders have? Embrace it with curiosity and then continue to work through it. And I think just that experience alone is going to create a lot of value.
I totally agree.
So
Totally agree. You can't bury your head in the sand. It's here. Changes are happening. I don't know if we said it earlier. And if we did, then I'll repeat it anyway. We have midterm elections coming this year. Mm-hmm. Some of the decisions that have been made last year, as far as taxes are concerned, extending and making some of these tax laws permanent. We all know permanent in the eyes of the government is written in pencil, not in a Sharpie. Mm-hmm. And so if a new administration comes into play, then those tax breaks, those tax laws, those brackets that we've been very, very we've embraced over the last 2017. So over the last 9 years have been very, very good for just about everyone.
Yep.
Those may go away, or get modified or changed, right? For those who are over 65 years old, we have this new senior deduction of $6,000 depending on your income, $12,000 for a couple. That's only in play until 28, I believe, and then after that, it's theoretically gone, right? So what are you doing as a 65-year-old to take advantage of that break?
Yeah,
standard deduction is at a record high. 100% bonus depreciation.
Yeah, for businesses.
Like that's on the table to possibly be repealed.
I'm just thinking, like, obviously, most businesses we work with, they have, they're successful and they have plenty of net rev to put back in their business or liquidity to reinvest. But even if you're like running a little bit tight, do you realize that you could potentially take a loan and use the loan to go and invest and buy, a piece of machinery or something that you need in your business, fully depreciate, reduce your tax liability, maybe close to what you took the loan out for, pay off the loan. Like it requires the ones that are going to win right now are the ones that are going to embrace the change the most and just literally lean in with curiosity and then get rolling, baby. I love it. I'm excited about it. There's going to be a ton of good that comes from it.
Yeah.
Medical needs, medical research. I mean, political truth. I don't know if that'll happen, but there's going to be a lot of good. And so I think we just got to embrace it.
You just got to embrace it. You got to embrace it. One, where people may get lost is like, well, which one do I start off with? All these different, do I focus on AI in my business or in my business as a business owner? Well, do I do what Andrew said and go type in my income, my profession, and my concerns in ChatGPT or wherever? Do I focus on the tax planning? Do I focus on increasing my income? Those who are over 50 years old, the catch-up provision, well, there's some changes in that too. Yeah. You can no longer catch up in a pre-tax if you're over a certain income limit. You have to go into a Roth, and not every company has a Roth 401k. So what are you doing?
Yeah.
Right. If you got used to putting
crazy.
If you got used to putting in that extra $8,000 and your company doesn't have a Roth option, what do you do?
Yeah.
So where do you start? I'd say just start.
Yeah, just
start.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
You go down that rabbit hole, you'll be there for a moment.
So, just start somewhere, right? If it's okay, what do I got to do with my 401k contributions to make up? Figure that out, right? Mm-hmm. If it's ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, whatever, just start.
Yeah.
Right?
Stay away from 50-year mortgages.
Yes.
Consider refi.
Stay away from 50-year mortgages. Don't even do that.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I say. Don't do that. But don't be paralyzed by trying to analyze too much. Yeah. Like just start somewhere.
What is that? The old, I don't know if it's an adage, but I read it in a book, I think. But it was like, look, you'll never be an author if you don't start writing.
Yeah.
You'll never be intelligent if you don't start reading. Like you'll never be a good artist if you don't start painting or drawing or whatever. Like you get the point. It's like, yeah, you'll never understand it and never gain a better understanding and a way to utilize the advancement of AI until you try. So you got to start somewhere. And yeah, man, it's 2026 is the year.
It's the
I
year.
really do believe it's the year for families, for students, for business owners. If we are going to really be at a place where we can be competitive, no matter what we're trying to be competitive in 27, 28, and 29, we better start embracing it now.
Yeah.
100%.
100%. I think what we should do is continue this conversation.
Yeah,
Right.
for
Through
sure.
future episodes, just continue the conversation about why 2026 is the year.
Yeah, we'll stay right there.
Yeah.
Till next time.